There are a couple of names in the men's Royal Rumble match that I really think have the best shot at winning, but then I wonder what is going to be their story if they do in fact win. So let's go through this list and let's start things off with Logan Paul. I'm not saying Logan Paul is going to win the Royal Rumble. He's not my pick. Go check out my predictions video. Shout out to just plugging that thing. But Logan Paul came out on Monday Night Raw, declared for the Royal Rumble, really started to play with Gunther and Seth and the world title. See, the thing about Logan Paul, he got good heat. That crowd booed him hard. Hulk Hogan booed level maybe, but he got really heated on that, where the crowd was deafening. In wrestling and entertainment like that, that's what you want. Whether you like Logan Paul or not, he's good on the microphone and he is good in the ring. He's generating that excitement and that intrigue. If Logan Paul were to be around for WWE long term, like more often than what he has done, because he's talked so many times about like, I'm going full time with WWE, I'm doing that. Like, you haven't done anything. So if he is after WrestleMania going to in fact be around a lot more, I mean, it would be shocking if you turned around at the Royal Rumble and you had Logan Paul win the Rumble. Not saying I want this to happen or that I think that it's even like on the top 5. I think he gets eliminated by somebody to set up his Mania match. Maybe he gets eliminated by Cena or someone else. But if Paul did win, you get him going after the world title and Gunther, maybe a multi-man match like with Seth, and at least then you have the story of the world title taken care of. And Gunther versus Logan Paul, like I just see Logan Paul get chopped to death, it would be kind of cool. But if you did have that match, it's huge heat on Logan Paul. However, it does babyface Gunther if he stays as champion going to Mania. But if you did at WrestleMania, you had Logan Paul win that world title and he's around a lot, you're getting major heat on the world title and kind of elevating it a little bit in terms of exposure. But I don't see him winning. But I do think that if at some point in 2025 he gets that world title, he's gonna generate a lot of interest. Okay, now Sami Zayn. Sami has been given haluva kicks to just everybody on purpose and missing, and he's just, oh my gosh, what have I done? He's all kerfuffled about what he's doing. So he's entering the Royal Rumble. Sami, I can kind of see going the distance. You might want a Sami Zayn to come in there at like number 1, number 2, and he tries to make it all the way to like 27, 28. Giving him that real underdog Shawn Michaels style match where he's going the distance. I also like to see Carmelo Hayes go as like number 1, number 2, and see him go all the way, kind of a dark horse. But for Sami, I don't see Sami winning the Royal Rumble. He would be kind of at the lower than Logan Paul in terms of his shot at winning. What I see happening for Sami is possibly Kevin Owens getting involved in the Rumble and throwing him out. Kevin Owens teased with Sami Zayn, his old friend, his ex-friend, and then he showed up on Raw that time and he have confronted Sami Zayn, asked for his help in the ladder match. So they sprinkle these things in, these elements. Kevin Owens, I assume, is losing to Cody Rhodes at the Rumble, but if he does, then I could totally see Kevin Owens coming out during the Rumble match and causing Sami to get eliminated, maybe setting up their WrestleMania match, because Kevin Owens can say, you were supposed to be my friend, you didn't have my back, you cost me my title against Cody, and now I'm going to cost you your title shot. They've at least been trying to set up different stories with Sami Zayn, which I like, maybe to get a little bit more disgruntled and angry about what's happening, like he hasn't won a world title and that he feels he should, but he keeps just giving haluva kicks to everybody. I do think Sami's gonna get eliminated. If he won the Royal Rumble, it would only make sense for him to go after like the world title, and he's just not at that position, I feel like, where people would really buy Sami Zayn going after the world title right now. So yeah, kind of my prediction is Kevin Owens takes out Sami Zayn. Another name for like the finals, and like, could they win the Rumble, and then what if? So Seth Rollins. Seth coming out on Raw, so I haven't felt like Seth would even have a chance at winning the Rumble. He lost to CM Punk in their feud, at least for now, for their feud. And I just haven't felt like Seth would be one of the final guys or win the Royal Rumble, I should say. But his promo on Raw, I felt brought him back up a little bit higher, where I'm like, okay, you could do Seth Rollins winning the Royal Rumble. And there is interest in there for like, okay, if Seth won the Rumble, he could easily go after the world title. He confronted Gunther and Logan Paul in that segment. And you know what? That would help Seth with his kind of redemption and feeling like, I need to get my title back and I need to elevate it once again. Because Gunther's reign as world champion, I don't know about you. For me, it hasn't been a very hot thing. I haven't really enjoyed it all that much. So if you did have Seth win the Rumble, he can turn around and go after Gunther and try to reclaim his title, which is a really good story. And honestly, I think it would help elevate the world title a little bit more. And you can have endless matches coming out of that thing. You can have rematches with Gunther. You can maybe do like Kevin Owens. You can do Sami Zayn. You could do a lot of different things. But if Seth won and he decided, I'm going after Cody and Cody's belt, there's a lot of story in there. The two of them tagged at WrestleMania 40 against Roman and The Rock. You can tell a really interesting story between the two of them. They have their history. When Cody came back to WWE and beat Seth at WrestleMania, Seth could win the Rumble, say, I'm going after Cody, and I'm trying to get my WrestleMania win back against Cody Rhodes. Not to mention, the Hell in a Cell match. They've had this history, and you can push Seth to be more of the heel in that feud once again. There is a lot of layers there. So Seth's story against Cody, I feel is pretty interesting. Is it WrestleMania main event? I don't know. All right, let's talk Drew McIntyre. I love Drew's character for 2024 all the way till now. I think it's been great, but they have pumped the brakes on the whole Drew being bloodline hunter killer, going after everyone in the bloodline. Since the Royal Rumble kind of started peaking, he's done those attacks on Jimmy and Jay, Sammy. He did all of that. He had the match against Sami Zayn, 2 matches against Sami Zayn. He's done these matches and Jey Uso. Is he done? Like, he never got to Roman and he never got to Cody. So are they going to somehow speed up Drew's story going to WrestleMania about still wanting to attack the bloodline? I feel like Drew's character has veered off and pivoted a little bit into, okay, I'm totally focused on getting back at all these people in the bloodline, but now the Rumble's around, so it's all about the Rumble, so I'm back talking to Punk and Seth and all of them, and even Paul Heyman. So they are still playing with it of like, could he eliminate Roman Reigns? But when he had the segment with Paul Heyman, he was directing his conversations to Paul Heyman's guy, CM Punk. So I don't know if Drew would be going after anyone in the bloodline anymore. If Drew won the Rumble, I still think it's an excellent option because I think Drew has all this history with so many people. He could turn around and say, I'm going after the World Heavyweight title. The title I won at WrestleMania and the title I lost again because of stupid CM Punk. They could redo that and you could have Drew try to go for it again, this time against Gunther, and then give Drew a proper reign as World Heavyweight Champion. But that does feel very similar, or just like we had him in the world title match last year against Seth. So what if Drew turned around and he won? He's like, I'm going after Cody. Frankly, everybody, like, come on. Cody's title is top title. Then it's the world title. Like, the world title feels many pegs down. So if you're Drew's character, why would he not want to go after Cody? And if he goes after Cody, along the way, he can, dismiss Seth and Punk and be like, look, I won the Rumble. I'm the man and I'm going after Cody Rhodes and I'm going to stop him. Also, Drew can play on the fact that Cody has aligned with the bloodline in the past. They could lean into that a little bit. And then you have a big, nasty, built-up heel in Drew McIntyre going after Cody's title, and it could actually be in jeopardy. And I think the story would be good, the promos would be excellent, and you're telling a really compelling story and a matchup that we really haven't seen. So let's talk about Roman Reigns. Roman's an interesting case for the Royal Rumble. Roman has not been around to do promos or anything revolving around the Royal Rumble other than Paul Heyman declaring for him and just talking him up. Could Roman win the Royal Rumble? Absolutely. Is it conceivable? 100%. If he wins the Royal Rumble and tosses out, Punk or John Cena last, and Roman wins the Rumble, goes off to WrestleMania Night 2 to do Cody versus Roman Part 3. Now that on paper bores me because there's no more intrigue in my eyes of Cody Roman's story. The bloodline, it feels like Solo and Jacob Fatu are probably going to go have their thing at WrestleMania. There's no real intrigue in terms of bloodline. So this match, I feel like if it was Cody and Roman again, not very hot. Like, what new dynamic could you possibly tell? I'll tell you what the new dynamic could be. If Roman Reigns wins the Royal Rumble clean and fair, then you could have CM Punk use his favor, cash it in like Money in the Bank, and tries to get into a triple threat with Cody and Roman. Either by getting into a match where he gets into the Elimination Chamber to get into that, but if Roman's already winning the Rumble, then there wouldn't be another match at Chamber. So I think that you would then have CM Punk, who probably gets tossed out by Roman Reigns. He turns around the next week or whatever and declares to Paul Heyman, get me in that match. And then it becomes Punk, Cody, and Roman. The promo we saw on Raw, we'll talk about Punk a little bit more, but very briefly, the Cody Punk promo made me want to see that match. But then I'm like, Roman Reigns is still around. So I think that that's probably one of the options. The other thing for Roman is The Rock. We ultimately don't know if the Brahma Bull and the final boss will make his appearance at all. By all accounts, feels like he is out. He's doing other things. He's doing movie stuff. He ain't going to be around for WrestleMania. They may have just stopped that whole storyline, but they could totally surprise us. And I could see it where Roman is in the match in the final 3 or 4, and The Rock's music hits and he comes down, he gets involved, not enters the Royal Rumble, but eliminates Roman Reigns. You go over the top rope, you're out. So he could eliminate Roman Reigns in the Royal Rumble, thus setting up Rock Roman Night 2 of Mania. And you could have Punk win or Drew win or Seth win. Or like a lot of people have talked about, Roman Reigns, eliminates everybody. Rock's music hits. It's number 31. They stare down, they go at it, and Rock throws Roman Reigns over the top rope. But then you got Rock going for the title. That doesn't make any sense, because then it's like, what? Is it going to be Cody, Rock, and Roman? Hey, that's a blockbuster main event. They could do it, but then it just doesn't really work. I could see if The Rock got involved in the Rumble. That's a possibility. The other possibility, John Cena. You can't see him. He hasn't been on TV at all, by the way, since he declared for the Rumble. So Cena's going to be in the Royal Rumble match. If Cena wins and he eliminates CM Punk or Roman Reigns and throws them over the top rope, John Cena points. He declares he's going to WrestleMania, and he did it. He's going to do it for the 17th time. He's going to break the record. Then you get the story, I think, of Cody versus Cena. I think that is a huge blockbuster match that is arguably on level of Rock and Hogan when they did that. That one was more of just like the match itself became iconic. The build was fine, but this, it felt like that it's that generational thing where you have the old timer in John Cena trying to go one more time for the belt, and Cody Rhodes as the new version of John Cena, the guy who's doing everything, Mr. WWE. So that match on paper, it'd be fun. The promos would be excellent. You get a little bit more of Cody's current character, like what he did on Raw with Punk, where he's like really broken down and tired. And John Cena could take advantage of that. Cena's got the built-in story of trying to break the record. And then at WrestleMania, if you did have Cody versus Cena, you could have Cena lose, Cody retaining the belt against Cena. Crowd gets a little disgruntled with Cody Rhodes because they didn't like that. They want to see Cena break the record. And then Cena takes the rest of the year to build himself back up to try and do it again. Or Cena wins. Cena beats Cody 1, 2, 3, and he gets that 17th title win. And that moves Cody off into a new era and a new storyline, and then Cena holds the belt for like a few months. What about CM Punk? I think there's a lot of possibilities, and CM Punk right now for me is my front runner to actually win the Royal Rumble. The promo we saw on Raw between Cody and Punk made me very interested in, like I said earlier, wanting to see that match happen. That one-on-one match, I was like, oh, cool. If that's the match, I'm in. Because that broken down version of Cody, that's an interesting wrinkle in his character. Somebody who's been going too hard, working too hard. He is breaking down, and you have the old veteran in CM Punk who has said on Raw, like, I've been there. I've held that belt for over a year. Like, I know what it takes, and I'm taking it from you. And you can have a Cody Rhodes that is just burnt out, and Punk takes advantage of that. So what about the Royal Rumble, though? I think you could have it where it's possible that Paul Heyman turns on Roman Reigns, and the favor is when it's down to the final 2 and it's Roman and Punk. They try to get the toss out. Paul Heyman gets involved with a distraction, grabs the leg of Roman Reigns, and Punk is then able to get the win. Then you have Paul Heyman siding with CM Punk, kind of, but it's complicated, right? WWE and Triple H like to make things saga and complicated and deeper. So then you have the complicated moment where Paul Heyman may have turned a little bit on Roman Reigns. And it's not that he wanted to, but it's that he had to because he had the favor to CM Punk. He cashed in that favor in that moment. Punk wins the Rumble. Punk decides, I'm going after Cody, and you get Cody versus Punk Night 2 WrestleMania. However, you could do that match straight up. Then it's like, well, what are you doing with Roman Reigns for WrestleMania? Is he going for the world title? No. But Roman could be having The Rock, or it's kind of flipped around, and Punk wins the Rumble by getting the favor cashed in by Paul Heyman, fights Cody, Roman Reigns gets into the match, basically forces his way in because he's like, you screwed me, Paul Heyman screwed me, so I'm telling Paul he's got to get me into that match and make it a triple threat. So instead of Punk, like we said earlier, where Punk is getting inserted into the triple threat, it's Roman doing it, and then you have Cody, Punk, and Roman in a triple threat. Punk just feels like it's the more obvious pick to win the Rumble. Could he go after the world title? Sure, but the way they position it and Punk having the promo with Cody, that's the belt he wants. That's the Night 2 main event. I do feel because The Rock is kind of the question mark for me for a lot of this Rumble ending, I think that it does boil down to Roman and Punk. Call back to War Games, the sit down, the two of them having to work together. Now they can go against each other and get their hands on one another. And it would be shocking and leave everybody stunned if Paul Heyman kind of turned on Roman Reigns. What was your pick for the Royal Rumble? Drop it below. Subscribe to the channel, guys, if you can. And like I said earlier, we got our predictions for the Royal Rumble. Cheap plug, it's right here. Check it out. Have a great day. See ya.